I guess it's sort of along the same sort of thing. But there's just this question of what is love?
Good question.
Like, how does one know that's what is there?
Yeah.
Or do you just know when you know? Or, I mean, like, I don't know.
Well, you know if you know. Well, a lot of people think they know when they don't actually know. That's the dicey part about it, right? Because we have so many associations with love. We're so conditioned about love, right? Starts out with love is hormones, right? When I get turned on, that's love. I hope most people in this room know that has nothing to do with love, right? That's just hormones. That's biological impulse, Let's procreate and keep the species going, sweetheart. That's what right? So hormones don't mean love.
Okay. Well,
go ahead.
I just wonder, is that the only time
the only time what?
Sex comes up?
No.
I mean, okay.
Of course not. And I'm not even saying that that's bad. That's fine. It's nature, so it's not. I'm not putting a negative connotation on it. I'm just saying, you asked me what love is, and that can be a means of expressing love, right? But so can a hug. So can an action. You see what I mean? So can a look, a glance. There's a million and one ways to express love, right? Sexuality is one of the ways. I'm just saying that sexuality in and of itself isn't love. I think we all know it can exist totally independently of love. There can be a great, powerful sexual impulse. But sex, like almost anything else, can be that which is one way of expressing love among an infinite number of other ways. So we see, okay, that's what that is. Because what we're looking for is what is this? What is love? Right? What is it really? Right? So is love just attraction? Is that just love? Is that what love is? Attraction. I think anybody that's actually have experienced something deeper knows love may express itself through attraction, but attraction itself not necessarily love either. So then we keep going. You get a little closer into the heart of what is this thing called love? It's not something I can necessarily give a nice description of. To me, love is when you see, trying to keep away from overly spiritual words because it's always described that way. Love is that connection that can exist completely independently of anything else. It can express itself through all the means that we are taught, but love itself exists completely on its own. In that sense, it's a totally pure, simple, beautiful thing. It's a certain kind of recognition. A certain quality of a recognition. Seeing something in the other. Maybe even seeing that there isn't another. Right? Seeing that there isn't another in another. Seeing that which is beautiful in another. And I don't mean the looks of the other. That's a type of beauty too. That can be nice. But seeing the beauty in that. Do you know what I mean? In the same way you can see the beauty of a beautiful sunflower, and you can see the beauty of a dead sunflower trampled on the ground. And they both have the beauty in them. You know what I mean? One has the exterior beauty, but there's a deeper beauty. It falls, it's dying, it's dead. There's still a beauty to it. Do you know, I think love is like one of those things, if it's described too accurately, we lose something about it.
Yeah.
Right? And love is something also that is this story I've told a few times, but it's probably the best description of love I've ever heard. And it's not a description at all, but it still does it. Of a man who used to come to my meetings when things were very small, like 8 or 10 people. It's a wonderful man from Japan, and very small group, and people were kind of talking about love and, you know, and marriage and all these things. And this guy, all of a sudden, he almost never said anything. He was very, very quiet Asian man, probably in his mid 50s or early 60s, and he just very uncommon. He just spoke up and he said, "Americans, it's strange, your idea of love." He goes, "In America, you get married because you assume you're in love." He goes, "You know, where I came from, we get married with the hope that we can discover what love is before we die." And then he said a very beautiful thing. He said, you know, because to him this was part of love, what I'm going to say. He said, "You know, it took me 15 years to totally accept my wife." And then he got a big smile, and he proudly said, "Only 15 years." Do you see what I mean? Now that's a man that has begun to discover love. See what I mean? That's not the same as, you know, what we normally think of. It's not, you know, the end to the romantic comedy movie, or, you know, there's obviously can be love there. It can be there, of course, but, you know, love, it's something else. It's not the thing that it's sold as, is it? No. It's not the thing that you just immediately assume because you feel some way. I'm in love. No, something else is going on. It may be very beautiful and wonderful. Enjoy it. Good, fine. But it's not necessarily love either. It might turn into it. It might not. Love is, here's my description of love. Love is that thing that once you fall into, you never, ever, ever fall out of. There's no such thing as falling out of love with anything. If you can fall out of it, it wasn't love you fell out of. Love isn't something you can turn off. Attraction gets turned off. Mm-hmm. Agreement gets turned off. I love you, I like you gets turned off. All that gets turned on and off. Love is that thing that it doesn't really even get turned on. It's recognized, it's that which you recognize is there. Right? Mm. And even if, you know, you see people get divorced or something, and if there's love there, it's one of the problems. This is my little secret theory. You want me to tell you a little secret theory? One of my theories about why some people need, this isn't true for everybody, but you know what? A lot of people need a lot of force of powerful negative energy to break apart, right? Sometimes people go, you know, this just isn't working. It's just not working for me, and let's just end this. And you know, it's difficult and everything, but they go their ways. That happens, not very often. Usually people have to work up a certain amount of psychological energy so that they can have the energy that helps them repel the other away. Instead of just staying in clarity and going, this isn't working. They're not that mature. They have to have a repelling energetic force. So they get anger and bitter and resentment, and that helps them to repel, right? But as they're repelling unconsciously, if love's ever been there, one of the things that I think gets people even more upset, they don't know, and it's very unconscious, is because they can't get rid of the love. You see, they're like, I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. You know, and they never think there was any love at all. But one of the reasons they're having such a tough time, because they can't get rid of the damn thing. They may not even feel it at all. All they may feel is hate. But if they've ever known love, you just can't, it won't go away. It doesn't mean you're in love, but, love is seeing a truth, a reality, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, with certain things, certain people, there's seeing a certain reality, and there's also a connection that happens in that. Just like you can see the reality in not just looking at trees, but you see the truth of them, right? The beauty of, you look over a landscape, wow, all this is the divine expression. You're not just thinking it. Of course, if it's true, you're not even thinking that at all. You're just sensing it, you know it. And then maybe for some reason there's one tree that gets your imagination, right? Wow, that tree. They all have it equally, but that tree. And you get intrigued, right? You walk up to that tree. So there can be a mysterious, even in that, the unity of love, there can be that mysterious connection. I could not possibly define what that is.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That mysterious connection. And once you see it, you've seen a truth. So you can't, there's no such thing as
I guess with moments like that, I guess there was a question of whether I was making it up or something.
Yeah.
Just sort of just those moments. Yeah.
Well, they probably just because they aren't the norm, right? We're making this up. What is this? It's odd.
Yeah,
it's
like
different.
Trying to figure it out,
right?
And stuff.
And there's no figuring it out. There's no figuring that out, right? And even if you have that connection, it doesn't mean anything. It just means it's there. If it's with a human, it doesn't mean you're meant to spend 10 years or 2 seconds together. It just means it's there. But anyway, we all, but you like everything else about this, we all have to discover it from the inside, but it's there. Love is that thing that visits you, at the oddest moments. Like, you've heard me tell that story, the guy with the cream puff that ate it, that I fell in love with, yeah. Big old huge fat guy with his, I guess his girlfriend, you wouldn't know by the look on his face, and devouring a cream puff, and looks very unpleasant. And I just looked at it, and I was sitting there with my wife, Mukti, and we were just sitting in this farmer's market, and I just tears just rolled down my eyes. And my wife knows me so well. She just said, before I said anything, she goes, "Oh, Adya, again?" And I just turned, I said, "Yeah, I love that guy. I just, and I probably wouldn't want to spend 2 seconds with him because he didn't look very pleasant, but, it just comes and gets you, just, wow. That thing, you just, all of a sudden you see it somewhere where you least expect it often, So maybe it'll be like that. It's just there, like, poof, a tear for 5 minutes, then gone, nothing, just that. Sometime maybe it will last a lifetime, who knows. But it's that thing, you see, it's that. Yeah. Okay. And as I always like to say, because people, and I don't want to talk about relationships, ladies and gentlemen, but as I often say, you've heard remember the old adage, like, all you need is love, the song and everything. When it comes to a relationship, it's bullshit. You can have great love, and it may not nearly be enough. May not nearly be enough. You can have great, like the guy with the cream puff, the tears and everything. I don't want to spend my life with the guy. I don't even really want to go to dinner with him, or I didn't even want to talk to him, So what I mean, it doesn't. There's got to be a whole lot of other elements that start to, that kind of fit. It's love does not overcome all. It's a nice romantic thought. It overcomes a huge amount, but it doesn't overcome everything. That's not true. There's also that mysterious mixing of human components. That's humanness. That is good to know.